me, it felt like kind of coming home to a place that I had dreamed about but had never experienced before. That sounds maybe a little over the top, but there was something that was just a fit. There was a sense of belonging. I think a spaciousness. Meeting, we described it, we talked about it a lot afterwards, that it felt like it was a big umbrella and that it was big enough for the both of us.
There were a lot of people that were available to just talk about whatever it is, whatever questions I had, and it wasn't a nervous, anxious experience. It was very welcoming, non-judgmental, and it provided a space for me to ask those questions, and nobody was afraid of that.
I feel like there is space for everyone, not only for belief but for unbelief, for doubts and for questions and questing, and I think that was the part that I felt safe with, that I could come however I was, from the Christian tradition or not.
Going to meeting for worship, when we're all together, there's definitely a different energy in the room. It's like everybody is, an individual, and we can talk about our experience a little differently, whether it's prayer, praying to a personal God or conversation with a personal God. Other people put lots of different language on it. This experience of meditation, contemplation, prayer, with the universe or energy, whatever it might be. There's a lot of room for that in the meeting for worship. And yet at the same time, it's not that all these individuals are having their own isolated experience. Mm-hmm. We all come together, and I think there's a recognition that we are together. If people share, through vocal ministry, then that does influence, the hearers of that message, and I think it can be an experience where the sum is, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts experience.
Yeah, there's definitely that connection that you're a part of something bigger than yourself. It's sacred space. I think it was really refreshing to me that there wasn't dogma, there wasn't a set of tenets that I had to recite and say, and I have believed this in order to come here. And yet there are these guiding principles.
The idea that there is that of God in everyone is a core belief or principle.
That was a powerful thing to talk to a little person about. I mean, I think we started talking to Miss Sage about, when she was 2, about that still small voice and that of the divine in every person. And she gets that. She got that right away. It made sense. I think the goodness of people, even people that make some bad choices. And so we'll kind of process that through when she's had a tough day at school, and I think that's been one of my favorite spiritual principles, that Quakerism has really helped give me words to talk to her about that.
Quakerism has helped me to be more comfortable with the questions. And when our daughter, who's 4 now, has questions, we leave the question out there instead of giving quick answers. So that she believes what we believe. But instead we let the question be, So that's and it's wonderful. And she is developing a sense of wonder, like we are as well.
I think one thing that's been really interesting to me is kind of the meeting for business and the idea of nonviolent communication and consensus and kind of these principles that I've seen modeled in really unique ways in the Quaker community that I haven't seen modeled before with large groups as they make difficult decisions, as they talk about difficult subjects, whether that be racism or privilege or, budgets or whatever that is.
I think the Quaker meeting, like Minneapolis Friends Meeting, has been a place where we can nurture that peaceful part, that peace testimony in our life to become a more peaceful person, promoting peace in the world. Yeah, I think I've tried to explain my experience many times to friends and family, and ultimately it just doesn't do justice to actually just coming to visit and just to see what it's like. And that's what I encourage people to do. And I just see it being a place of action. There's the silence, there's the stillness, and then there's a lot of people doing a lot of good work in the world.